So thank you so much for jumping on board, participating in this first time, first time National Virtual Walk, and then first time like Zoom call with some team leaders throughout the country. So we're so excited. So I guess let's go in alphabetical order and, let our audience know who you are and your background, and then we will dive, and then each other's, I can let each other know about yourselves, and then we'll dive into the questions. So I'll start with Lola. So Lola Clay, who is based in Houston. If you would give us some background and introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm Lola and I live in Houston, Texas, and I'm a clinical psychotherapist. I really love and enjoy my work. And so for me, participating with the Lustgarten Foundation and this virtual walk is just an extension of the helping and healing work that I already do. So it's a natural progression and I'm really excited.
Great, thanks, Lola. So moving along to Lauren Schierloh, based in Ohio. Lauren, if you give us a quick background on yourself as well.
Sure. I'm Lauren Schierloh, and I live in Dayton, Ohio, or a little suburb of Dayton, Ohio. And I am actually a registered and licensed dietitian with my degree, but I don't practice often. I'm a photographer is my main job right now. And I'm excited to be a part of this foundation. I'm just so excited to have found you guys. So that's where I stand.
Thank you, thank you. And last but not least, we have Rebecca Davis-Suskind from Seattle. Rebecca, please give us a little bit of your background too as well.
Love to. Yeah. So I am Rebecca and I do live in Seattle, and I'm a palliative care provider, and I have a clinical palliative care navigation practice, mainly with folks who have pancreatic cancer. I lost my mom about 8 years ago to pancreatic cancer, and that is why I'm very involved. And I'm thrilled to be here because I love the work that Lustgarten does around research and the work you're doing around early detection. Very, very important and so critical. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you. So actually, Rebecca, you gave us kind of a nice segue to the first question, which is really talking about, how your life has been impacted by pancreatic cancer. What is really a wonderful actual bond for all of you is that all of your moms, have passed away from pancreatic cancer. So you have that common bond. And you're also new to our virtual walks, which is exciting, and we appreciate you helping us lead this to a successful event. And so Lola, would you start by letting us know, your story, like how your life has been impacted by pancreatic cancer?
Most definitely. So around October of 2018, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, but 2 years prior to that diagnosis, she started experiencing a plethora of health issues. And when we finally got her diagnosis, we were absolutely crushed. And so when Rebecca talks about early detection, that's key. Even though we were crushed, we were strangely optimistic. And so we went through the chemo and all the accompanying therapies. And at first, my mom tried really, really hard. She fought. But as time progressed, the hardest thing was watching her lose hope. And as hard as watching the physical deterioration of this disease is, it was watching her become fearful that was the most heart-wrenching thing for her. Fearful that she wouldn't win the fight. And when she became fearful, it became that much harder for all of us to remain optimistic. And so I'm here now because learning what the signs and symptoms can be and knowing when to get someone tested, that can be the game changer. And so my family and I were coping, but I have to be honest, it's been difficult. My mom was the center of our very small family, and we really feel the loss of her presence. We really do. And so when I found the Lustgarten Foundation and discovered that 100% of the proceeds go to research, I had to get to be a part of you guys. And that's what's keeping me going. You know, I've always wanted to work hard in everything that I do and make my mom proud. She would always, you know, always find something constructive to do, even with your pain. And so that plays in my mind over and over and over again. And so that's what I'm doing now. I'm finding something constructive to do with the pain and turning pain into progress and meeting wonderful people along the way. So.
Well, thank you for that and sharing that story. And, you know, for each of you, we also want to know what you would want us to know about your mom. So if you would leave your story, Lola, with a piece of, you know, what was she like? And then I'd like to ask Lauren and Rebecca, like how that story resonated with both of you. And then also, you know, we do want to know who they were as well. And we want our audience to know, you know, like what would you want people to know about your special mom?
My mom was my very best friend in the whole world. I could never find any wrong with her, and she no wrong with me. She was the funniest person ever. She had a lot of style, and even like her hospice nurse would call her the diva. And she was funny. She had a way of making people laugh even when you thought there was nothing to laugh at. And so she just brought joy. And she was a very accepting person, very open-minded, and just loved everyone. If you met her, she was definitely going to love on you.
Thank you for sharing that. Lauren, your life, and, you know, like, please share how it was impacted by pancreatic cancer, and please share with us who your mom was.
Sure. If I can get through it without some, you know, tears. Lola, if I can follow you in the strength, that'd be great. So my mom was diagnosed about 2.5 years ago, and then lost her battle with pancreatic cancer about 2 years ago. So she had 6 months of care that we thought was caught early enough. She had a little bit of belly pain, was super proactive. Her dad had passed away from pancreatic cancer when she was in her, I think, late 20s, early 30s. She had a second cousin that passed away from pancreatic cancer. So she's always been aware and in the back of her mind how important it is to stay healthy, eat well, exercise, pay attention and listen to your body. So she was having a little bit of belly pain, and she went and they diagnosed her with a 2-centimeter tumor at the head of her pancreas, and we thought we caught it early. She started chemo right away, did radiation, the hardest, the strongest, whatever you got, Doc, give it to me. That's kind of, I want nobody in my family to ever go through this. I don't want my children to go through this. I don't want my grandchildren to go through this. So whatever it is, just, you know, give it to me. So she did that, and she did not feel well for a very long time, obviously. And we went in, all CAT scans were clear. Everything looked great. We went in for Whipple surgery. They did the laparoscopic and found little pellets all in her endometrial lining, and not endometrial lining, peritoneal lining. And they couldn't go through with the Whipple procedure. So it was like a gut punch. I don't know how else to explain it. The hope that we really had, just the life was sucked out of us. And like Lola was saying, our mom was our center of our family, the core, the most loving, kind, generous, hardworking, humble. I mean, I lucked out in the parent lottery, and she was just amazing. So that was hard. And then, well, we all just had a little family meeting, my brothers and my dad and I, and said, what's the next step? All right, so we'll do another round of chemo. Let's try something new. And then unfortunately, she got diagnosed with leukemia. It was a less than 1% chance that she would develop it from this concoction of chemo that she was receiving. And there you go. She was the less than 1% chance. So that's ultimately what she passed away very quickly of in June, actually about this time, 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with that. And then she passed away July 9th, just a couple weeks later, that fast. So we were not ready for that. And that was very hard. But she just was, man, to make her proud, if I could just live the rest of my life being a mom, a quarter of what she was, then I've done a little bit. I mean, she's amazing. Amazing, amazing mom.
Thank you for sharing that, Lauren. Rebecca, how does Lola's story and Lauren's story resonate with you? And, and please share what your mom was like with us.
Yes, I will. Thank you. I just want to thank both of you for sharing. I hear these stories over and over and over again, and having gone through a similar experience as both of you with my mother, the diagnosis out of the blue, and thinking like, we're just going to fight this with everything we have, thinking we got it early. I think my mother actually had 18 months, which in the world of pancreatic cancer is a long time. So we felt very blessed. We are a small, very close-knit Jewish family with a big community. And as I did a little bit more research about pancreatic cancer, which I did not know much about, my husband is a pediatric gastroenterologist, and he knew nothing about pancreatic cancer. And we just fully immersed, and in talking with our community, realized that, this was everywhere, that it's generational, which Lauren discovered, and that it's deadly. And so my mother lasted 18 months. She fought very hard. It was devastating. She was a very bright, very opinionated, very strong woman. She grew up in Ireland during the Troubles as a Jew, in between the Protestants and the Catholics fighting each other. So it created this kind of whirlwind of energy. It was hard to see that be put out. And she and my father had been married for 49 years when she passed away. And for him, it was devastating. I didn't think he was going to make it out. He did. He's still around and, moving forward. But I mean, this story is, replicated throughout the globe. And it's why we're all here. It's why we connect with each other so well. Community around pancreatic cancer is so strong. People feel so committed to fighting and, educating themselves and fundraising. And there's a reason, because we don't want anybody else to go through what we went through, because it is, as you both just said so beautifully, I mean, it's so difficult and painful, and you never get through it, right? You just live with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly, we appreciate all of you and the staff at Lustgarten Foundation and the board. We only get more inspired and motivated to do what we do, so that, families, patients don't feel that pain, or the, just kind of the struggle with this disease, because it is, a very hard disease, to treat, and hard for people to experience with their loved one. So thank you for sharing that. And, I wanted to also let the audience know, like, how, did you learn about Lustgarten Foundation? How did that introduction happen, to give people a sense of, how your path led you to the foundation, and kind of how we connected. And, anyone can jump in. I want to kind of make it a little more smooth. So if you guys want to raise your hand, just say okay, Lola, if you want to just do that way, that's great.
For me, I literally was looking for some way to stay afloat. we lost my mom in November of last year. And as the lady stated, it's so devastating and so painful. I felt really defeated, and I just needed to be able to connect with an organization and others that knew exactly what I was experiencing as a way to just throw myself a life vest. I just have to say it for what it is, because that's exactly what it is. So I went and I researched, and when I saw that the Lustgarten Foundation worked so tirelessly and did all of this research, that's how I decided. I knew it was the right organization for me to support. And so I jumped right in and started planning an event and working with you, Stephanie, and Stephanie and Jason, and then COVID hit and everything upside down and got my event canceled. And so I was once again just needing something. And then that's when the virtual walk came along. So.
Yeah, who would like to piggyback?
Stay in order. Maybe in order, right? I too was kind of like Lola was saying, like you're just kind of drowning, and how do I help? And everybody, you know, you get a straw and then someone pinches it and you're like, oh, you just keep moving on to the next. How do I help? What do I do? You know, nothing bothers me more than complaining and not trying to do something about it. So where do I go? What do I turn? And doing research, it's almost disappointing how little there is about pancreatic cancer. It's just, it's just disproportionately slow in comparison to breast cancer and colon cancer, even prostate cancer, which my dad had prostate cancer. Thank goodness, you know, surgery, he's healthy and everything's doing great. It doesn't get such great attention. So we were so frustrated in our research. And then my older brother said, you know what, there was a lacrosse player at Maryland whose mom passed away of pancreatic cancer years ago. And I think there was some organization somewhere out east. Let's do some research. And Lustgarten popped up and he's like, yeah, that's the one. And then he started researching, and my other brother and my dad were like, yep, this is where our energy is going to go. We feel like this is the organization that is going to make a dent. Like you said, throw some life jackets and really make some change here. And we're hoping that that's the case. You know, you can only, I guess I cross my fingers and hope and pray and luck, but you really have to do, right? So I feel like you guys are doing, and I'm going to try and do my part as well. So yes, the virtual walk. Stephanie, I think you sent me the link maybe when I reached out to you because I wanted one of your shirts. I sent you an email or I think on Instagram like, oh, I need some apparel. And oh, we have a walk coming up. And it just so happens June 28th is my birthday and my mom's half birthday. So I was like, I think it's time. I'm jumping in. This is it. And so here we are. I'm excited.
Yeah, June 28th is the eve of my mom's birthday. Her birthday.
Oh, get out.
Wow.
Oh, see?
Oh,
it's awesome. It's a good way to honor them, I guess, as best as we can. Yeah.
And just to piggyback on what both of you said, you know, it's really about legacy building, right? It's what does this loss mean to all of us, and how do we honor that person that we love the most, right? And the way to do it is to create community and be connected. Take this kind of horrific, tragic thing that happened and build something out of it in the memory of our person. And I think the way you do that is you reach out to other people who understand, you know, what it feels like. And then you work like hell to raise money to make sure that, you know, we can fight this. And I was really impressed with the quality of the researchers that were partnering with Lustgarten, the research that was coming out of Lustgarten. And again, I'm going to say the so critical early detection work, because nobody else is doing this work. It's so important, especially with multi-generational pancreatic cancer cases. You know, we need some way of trying to figure out how to identify this cancer on the front end, you know, for all of the kids and the daughters and the sons and I mean, it's critical. So that's why I'm participating, because I want to help raise money. I want to do the virtual walk. I want to build community, help support others, and, you know, fund this research.
That's great. Now, we, are very thankful for this kind of support and energy from all of you, because, Lustgarten is actually fairly young. It's a 21-year-old nonprofit. But in those 21 years, with that focus on research and fundraising for research, we're the largest private funder of pancreatic cancer research. We provide 2/3 of the funding for it, so nearly $200 million we put towards the research, and then early detection is such a huge priority for us. And so, I really appreciate you bringing that up, because Lauren, as you mentioned, no one was really focusing on this disease, especially 21 years ago. And, there's been a lot of work. So we're definitely this is an exciting time to be part of Lustgarten, because we do truly feel we're making progress towards that cure, which is our ultimate goal. Put us all out of business, all out of, we don't want the jobs, because that would have meant, we found a cure. But, all of you have mentioned the virtual walk. And since this is our first time hosting a national virtual walk, we're all curious about your plans for that day. Tell us where you plan to walk, with whom, how far, how will you share your experience and connect to others, other walkers on that day? We really want to encourage people to jump on board to our first national virtual walk. And so if you share what you plan that day, it will probably give people ideas of what they could do.
Okay. Well, first, I think the virtual walk is an awesome idea, because it can actually increase the number of people that are able to participate and donate. And I'm hoping that it increases awareness, period. And so my plan is a sunrise walk, shed the light on pancreatic cancer awareness. And so what I'm asking my team, or anyone that joins my team, is to get up at sunrise, whatever time the sun rises in your area, take a walk through your neighborhood or park and record your favorite sights and musings and reflections along the way, so that it can be a great way to start out your day, set the tone for the remainder of your week. And I know for me personally, walking at sunrise is always something that's very cathartic, because you're just naturally placed into a meditative state, and your emotions are able to be sorted out, and your stream of consciousness sort of purges itself at that time of morning. And so, yeah, that's what I'm asking people to do, is get up and walk with me at sunrise, and let's raise some money and fight this disease.
Great. Love that idea.
That is a great idea.
Yeah,
I might use that one. As of now, I have, my brother lives in Toledo, Ohio, and my older brother lives in Austin, Texas. My dad's in Indiana, so my dad's going to come to little old Dayton, Ohio, and we are going to hike and walk through one of our metro parks down the neighborhood street here. And friends and family that I have support or here are going to join us, and then I have aunts and uncles all over the country that have already agreed to walk in their town. And yeah, we're just excited we might even have them on FaceTime as we're walking. We may say some prayers as we walk. We may say a rosary as we walk. Anything to feel like Mom is with us is what we're gonna do.
Nice.
Oh, lovely.
Love that.
Ours is, we are, we're going on a little bit different tact in that I have some access to a lot of people who've been impacted by pancreatic cancer, not just my family. So we're doing a kind of a call out to everybody in the community, also people in different states and our relatives in Europe, in England and in Ireland. So what we're doing is just saying, you know, this is a time to think about my mom, Sally, but also kind of a time of reflection. You know, the messaging to family has been, this is a difficult time for a lot of people because of everything that's happening, and that let's kind of focus on what's really important, which is family and the people that we love. And will you come out and honor that and participate with us? You know, we're making it kind of like a more umbrella to catch all, so that we can, we're kind of going for numbers. My kids have told their grandparents that if they participate and raise money, they'll win Zoom calls with them. So they're working it too. Yeah. I believe brownies have been offered to our neighbors, but I'm not sure if that, don't take that yet, because I'm not sure that that's going to go anywhere. But yeah, just trying to make it kind of a positive, uplifting experience to feel connection in this time where people are really disconnected. It's a really good time for us to grab folks, to recognize, because we're so busy that right now everybody's a little bit more mindful, they're a little more quiet, and that's kind of our strategy, I suppose. Yeah, and talking about cancer, of course. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a celebration. This virtual walk is a celebration of everyone that has mindfully made the decision to do something, so that somewhere down the line, others won't have to have this same experience, because there'll be more research, more funding, more early detection, and hopefully, knock on wood, in someone's lifetime, an actual cure.
Yeah.
Hopefully in ours.
Yes.
Yeah. Selfishly, I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are all great, you know, ideas, and, you know, it just sounds like you all, you know, in your own network have figured out a way to celebrate that day. And you've touched upon it a little bit as far as like how you're spreading the word. Could you go more into like what else you're doing to spread the word about the fundraising and the walk in your community? Like, what responses have you received? How have people been receptive? The exciting thing, and you know, we definitely wanted you to know, is that so this virtual walk, one of the goals was to be able to be in areas of the country where a physical walk may not be, you know. So I know, Rebecca, in Seattle, we do have a physical walk, but we are trying to build upon that. And you graciously reached out to help us kind of, you know, grow that. And then in Ohio and Houston, we don't have any physical walks. And so, you know, this virtual walk is really going to be a wonderful opportunity to maybe educate and let people know about us that may not have been able to because they felt like they couldn't physically get to a walk. So that has, you know, we're so excited about your, you know, your support and participation, because that's huge. You know, like we try to figure out, how do we get to areas of the country where we really don't have a presence? And you all embrace this national virtual walk to be able to help do that. And then also engage your family and friends, you know, to let them know, you know, like, this is an organization I'm passionate about. And so it really is great. And, you know, like, and you're all in such different areas of the country. It's exciting. Like, we're very excited. But so how is your community responding to your emails and your outreach?
People are responding really positively and are getting excited about the walk, utilizing social media, Facebook. On our business page for Facebook, we've placed a promo about the virtual walk and a donate button right there on the page that takes them directly to the virtual walk page of the Lustgarten Foundation. Responses have been positive. I posted the video about the virtual walk to YouTube, and so many people have responded with their own tales of
Excellent.
and loved ones that they've
Wow.
lost to pancreatic cancer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sort of creating a new forum for people, because people that have dealt with pancreatic cancer don't have a large voice, it seems. I think
Mm-hmm.
that with the deterioration and the confusion of emotions around getting a diagnosis, it leaves a person so exhausted that many people don't talk about it after they've gone through it. And so now it's creating this much needed dialogue, and I'm excited. And I'm also sending email blasts to hundreds of people at a time. And so people are really responsive, and they're donating, and they're joining, and they're forming teams of their own. So I'm excited.
I've been just starting to, like, we just got our page formed, and we're like kind of softly emailing and things. It's been a little bit tricky for me because our family is usually a very private family. My dad is very anti-social media, and nobody needs to know our business. And so we're finding a balance of trying to respect our privacy and still have my mom's name be not associated with only pancreatic cancer, if that makes sense. I mean, it was obviously what brought us all together, but we are kind of treading lightly on how much publicity we're putting out there, but we do know how important it is to donate, and the fact that there's this a match, I think it's up to $100,000 match for this walk.
Right.
Starts to get us a little more like, okay, we really need to take this donation part serious. It's not just walking in memorial of my mom. No, we really got to make an effort here to do this. So we're treading lightly still, and figuring it all out. So yeah, any advice is welcome from either Lola or Rebecca, Stephanie too. But it's like a soft opening so far. It's only like a week and a half away, but I'll get there, I promise.
Yeah, no, thank you for mentioning the match. Yes, we have the $100,000 match, and we're, I think, at 45,000 of it. We have
wow.
ways to go, but we're excited through our virtual walk. So it's not just for June 28th, but you know that we have some other upcoming virtual walks, and so that was a great point to bring up. Thank you.
Sure.
And then that 100% of the donations from you and your network and your family, friends, you know, 100% of that will go to our research efforts. So I wanted to make sure that was brought up.
Yes, that's huge.
And Rebecca?
Well, I was going to respond to Lauren, actually, because you know, we've had now 8 years of fundraising and walking and running and doing all that stuff. And I think I absolutely hear the concern around privacy, but also wanting to celebrate your mom and in everything that she was, not just a victim of cancer. Right. And I think that the way that my family does that, and the other families that I've worked with do, or kind of celebrate that, is that they do make what Lola references is like it's a celebration, right? You're celebrating your mom, people who cared about her, celebrating her, or they're celebrating somebody that they lost by participating, really making it about kind of moving forward. I think I mentioned building legacy before, you know, making tragedy, turning tragedy into something that's positive, that helps other people. I mean, it's why we kind of navigate life without getting too philosophical. I mean, we have experiences. If something is awful, how do we turn that around, right? We make change, and this is what we're doing. We're change makers. We're celebrating our people that we lost. And so we make it a really positive thing. You know, when I message to friends and family, it's never about, oh, my poor mom who fought so hard and then died, because
Okay.
it's all of our stories, right?
Yeah.
We have these incredible people who fought really hard because they loved us, right? And they wanted to stay around to be with our kids and their grandchildren and their sisters and brothers and spouses and partners, and just messaging that, right, that this is a celebration of life, but we're just moving our bodies. And what better way, you know, to celebrate life than like moving these bodies that are healthy right now, and we won't always be here like this, right? And then also this community building thing that I keep referencing. It's so, I mean, as soon as my mother was diagnosed, I reached out to a local group of pancreatic cancer kind of advocates, and these are my best friends in this community now. I mean, because they understood the moment I met them. I went to the meeting. I had for the first time in my life, kind of a panic attack where I was overwhelmed and thought, I can't do this in public, and you know, I'm a professional, and I completely lost it, and everybody was so giving of themselves and compassionate and heart-centered, and that's who they are, and that's who you all are because of your person. And so it's nice to celebrate that too. And I think just keeping the focus on that, yeah. And while raising money so that we can beat this thing.
Yeah, I want to like piggyback off of what Rebecca said, because one of our questions is, you know, kind of like, what message advice would you give to others who are considering getting involved in a virtual walk? And because you all, you know, are like in the midst of it right now, and if you would share like kind of what advice you would give as you've kind of experienced this so far. I know it's kind of at the beginning, and you know, we're getting rolling, but you know, what else would you share with people who might be thinking like, oh, I want to do that, but you know,
I would say just jump in and try it. Just find the right organization that's a fit for you and try it. I think a virtual walk is a great way to get into fundraising and sort of find your footing. And definitely now I feel like I've met mentors that can help the next time this comes along. And so it's really exciting, and finding that connection to others and that communal sense of transformation. I mean, we're seeing that in our world today in so many various ways. So joining together in a transformative process is a great thing, and you're not alone.
And the core of our family is just love and togetherness, right? And that's very hard when we're all spread out all over the country. So this virtual walk was the perfect way for us to bring love and, like you said, kind of walking in honor of my mom and celebrating good things. And just jump right in. Like Lola said, why not just find your spot and do it. Stop talking about it and just do something about it, right?
Well, and I like that you pointed out people being spread out, because I think that's what's exciting about a virtual walk, is that it makes you feel sort of special for everyone to, no matter where they are, to be doing something in unison.
Right?
So it's neat that way. And I think that's what attracts people to it.
Yes. And especially, you know, we're all kind of away 6 feet apart from everybody, no matter where you go. And even if there was a physical walk where you're gathering, it's that sense of togetherness isn't there. So I think, this was the perfect way to bring that back together again.
What are some, you know, I guess in, you know, kind of in summary of this discussion, what would you like to leave the audience with thinking about, and why, you know, they would get motivated to join us on June 28th? And it could be even a couple of words, you know. it could be, cure and, like what family and love, like whatever you feel are your parting words for our audience.
The key is awareness. And so I definitely feel like my participation in this walk raises awareness. And if I could talk to everyone impacted by this disease, I would want them to know how open, how supportive the Lustgarten Foundation has been of me and my effort to make sure that, the transition or the loss of my mother to this most painful illness, the Lustgarten Foundation is working hard to make sure that others don't have to experience what she did. And research and trials are the important way that this is done, and it's how we'll find a cure. So thinking in terms of awareness and hope, hopefulness and awareness and action. That's what I would want everyone impacted by this disease to think about.
Yeah,
Thank you.
hard to follow, right? I'm just happy that we found an organization that we can get behind finally, and you guys are doing great things to find treatment and early detection, like we've mentioned many times, and hopefully a cure, and just improving quality of life, and just anything to demolish this horrible disease. So I'm just excited that people are considering walking and being a part of things, especially on my side in honor of my mom, and just to support me and knowing what we've all gone through as a family, and our very loving, kind, amazing mom that we can all, like you said, carry on a legacy of more than just love and loving our families at home and doing that. So to create that is important. Sorry, I get emotionally going, and then it's hard for me to complete my sentences, so I apologize. But yeah, the biggest thing is we're just happy to find an organization that we can get behind, and that you guys are, like Rebecca's mentioned many times with early detection. It's just we've just got to find something. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca? I would say that I like to think of us as warriors for hope, right? That we're the ones who are moving the battle forward, and the people who are providing the machines so that we can, go forward is Lustgarten, right? We can be as hopeful and as strong and as interactive and involved as we want, but we need that foundation of research, right? Of science to get us to the place where we're going. And so we're the foot soldiers, right? We're hopeful, we're compassionate, we're protective of other people, we're rising from kind of the ashes of this tragedy and this loss, and we're moving forward, but we need that foundational support, and that's what Lustgarten gives us. So it's a wonderful partnership.
Warriors of Hope. I love it.
Warriors of Hope. I know. I feel like our marketing team will be like, there's another.
Sure. I'm gonna use that one too.
Yeah. So Lola, Lauren, Rebecca, we appreciate you. We really thank you for your time tonight. I can't wait to see. I think this was just really an awesome discussion, and you're all really great, powerful women with a common bond of your moms being so special to you, and we want to be able to do all we can to help families like yours not feel that hurt. And we're very excited about this walk. I think we're a national organization. It's a national virtual walk. There isn't a reason why someone can't get involved. And we really wanted to have a representation of 3 people who are from very different parts of the country that are doing it and have different stories, but you have a common bond, and you're making it happen, and we can't be thankful enough and appreciative enough. So